So, dosto, some nuggets of advice for all of us. I keep reading, I keep listening, I keep interacting with a lot of people, and whatever I like, where learning can be imbibed, I want to share with you. At the same time, I record it so that I can also use it at a later date. So, very interesting, very interesting learning which I had recently was why do big corporations pay so high to their CEOs globally? इतनी ज्यादा सैलरी क्या रीजन है ऐसा भी क्या है उनमें सो फॉर एग्जाम्पल एलिसन हु इज ओरेकल सीईओ एंड ही गेट समवेयर अराउंड 2800 करोड़ सैलरी इन a year. Sundar Pichai, I think 3.5 crore a day, so he gets somewhere around 1200 1300 crore in a year. So ऐसा भी क्या है? What is it these guys have, which for which they are paid so high? So that's a very big question, Some very accomplished guy, he asked, big shareholders of these companies that, why do you pay so much? ऐसा क्या है, why do you not have somebody else? आप इंटरव्यू में क्या पूछते हो? What do you ask them in the interview, when you are interviewing these kind of people? Listen to this very carefully. Very interesting reply what he got. He said, जो इस तरीके के लोग होते हैं. So they are very well qualified. They have history of running big corporations, history of creating patents, history of doing successful things, which we all know because of their accomplishments, which gets published in media. So it's everywhere. तो वो सारा तो हमें पता ही होता है. So do you know what are the kind of questions he said we ask? He said इंटरव्यू में हम उनको एक क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं. And what is that question? So the question which sometimes and usually gets asked in these interviews is, what was your biggest failure in life and how did you handle it? हम ये सिर्फ एक क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं और उसके बाद 20 से 25 मिनट 30 मिनट बस सुनते हैं. So what we want to understand is, what was the biggest failures this guy ever had in his life and how did he come out of that failure? So we listen to that story very carefully. Their accomplishments, their degrees, their other stuff, their patents, everything is there documented. वो हमें पूछने की जरूरत ही नहीं है उन लोगों को. हम जो पूछते हैं वो ये कि आप अपने फेल्योर से कैसे बाहर आए. An interesting thing is, when we listen to what was his attitude during the times of failure. क्या ऐसी चीजें हैं जो उन्होंने करी during the failure time and how did he come out of that, and did he remain honest, ethical, and all other things with which you can actually gauge the character of that person, how he handles toughest situations in their lives. Because when you are sitting at a big corporation, a company which is doing very well, तो results और profit तो होता ही रहेगा, so good times will be there and most of the CEOs can handle that. But when the company is in problem, when there is a big issue, when there is a big cultural issue, big financial issue, regulatory issue, how are you going to steer the company during those difficult times? That is what is supposed to be understood, so that इन कंपनियों में, इन बड़ी कंपनियों में जब टेक्निकल चैलेंज आए, जब फाइनेंशियल चैलेंज आए, किसी भी टाइप का चैलेंज आए, so the leader has to be tough, and he should ensure that his attitude stays correct and he's able to steer things in a controlled fashion out of that problem. So this is what is asked in those kind of interviews. So I hope you have learned, why failures are so important. हम लोग छोटे छोटे फेलियर से डर जाते हैं, पीछे हट जाते हैं, लेकिन जितने बड़े फेलियर को हैंडल करने की आप में पावर है, जो आप उससे सीखते हो, that defines you. So make sure you be the right one, honest one, and the tough one. All the best.